Shot! And a goal! Seattle has their first! All I gotta say is Porter can't say shit.
He's a tough kid.
The simulation is alive. The simulation is expanding. Life in the simulation can be demanding, but sometimes it also brings you midweek soccer, and that's what we've got for you here on Scuttlebutt Sims, as tonight, Seattle Sounders FC makes the trip down to Earthquake Stadium, which is being called Crown Lane, to take on the San Jose Earthquakes. Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Harvey alongside Jackson Feltz, and Sounders, Jackson, climbing the table in recent fixtures.
Yeah, great win over Colorado last week. Andrew, thanks for being here with us tonight. I don't know what the stadium's called anymore, Andrew, but all we know is that there's an airport right next to us, and I can't tell soccer balls in the air from airplanes.
That's fair enough, Jackson, and all I can say is if you're somehow insinuating that we just have a small number of other stadiums that we keep trussing up as away venues, like for instance that perhaps Crown Lane was also Rio Tinto Stadium several weeks ago, I want to tell you that that's absolutely preposterous. No puppet, you're the puppet. Anyways, here's the Sounders starting lineup.
Yeah, Andrew, we still see the complete 100% healthy Seattle Sounders starting lineup here with, of course, Raul Ruidiaz up top, Morris, Ladero, Roldan, that band of three, Svensson, Joao Paulo, Holding, Jones, Gomez, Andrade, Arriaga, and Leerdam, your back four with Stefan Fry in goal. It's just amazing, Andrew, that the health of this team continues to be perfect. No injuries. It's like somebody set this up this way.
Absolutely. Ruidiaz, you can see there, after that brace, last time out, pulled level with Kai Kamara. Big match that was for the Sounders in that win against Colorado to remain unbeaten, keep climbing the table. Although Jackson, Colorado made things interesting late. It'll be interesting to see how the Sounders respond at the start of this match.
Yeah, it was a tough last 10 minutes there, Colorado scoring twice. But I'm going to once again, as we talked about at the end of that broadcast, focus on going up 3-0. The ability of this team to get on the front foot early in the matches, both in the first half and second half. That's the type of soccer that I want to see tonight. This San Jose team, they're right there in the standings there in the Western Conference. This is a big match for positioning, especially with Minnesota also playing tonight. Let's see what the Sounders can do early.
And we are underway here from Earthquake Stadium. The San Jose team, very respectable record to their name. Of course, we'll have to see if the simulation has accounted for Matias Almeida's unusual tactics, but right off the bat, quick move up the left side. Here's Danny Husin. Ball shuffled in, back post over the head of Valeri Vako-Kazashvili, a player who many people, Jackson, shy away from attempting to pronounce his full name, and I don't know. Kazashvili is very fun to say.
It absolutely is, and you talked about Husin also. That's somewhat difficult if you talked to me a couple of years ago on the KJR Sounders broadcast. But Husin, a guy who's been around for a couple of years, who scored in the Decision Day match back in 2018. He's had a decent San Jose career, as we see. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no.
Oh, this is not a good sign. Raul Ruidiaz,
oh, God.
Sounders leading scorer, and they are waving for the medical team to come on.
Oh, no. This is, let's watch this again. Well,
just has his knee clipped out from underneath him, and then on the ground you see just almost a bit of a leg bar.
Wow. That needs to be looked at in VAR. That needs to be a red card. Clearly something happened on the ground that caused that injury. That's disgusting, whatever happened there on the ground. Whoever that was, I'll have to get a better look at that later on. Should be ashamed of himself.
Or itself, perhaps, Jackson, as it is generally considered that beings within the simulation may perhaps lack gender in a strictly legal sense, although, strangely, they are all eligible to vote.
That's interesting. So is Danny... Did Jordan Morris just do a handball right there? Oh, that's...
Who can say, Jackson? Morris tries to scoop it in from the left side. It'll be cleared away. Will Bruin, the early sub, coming on in just the 4th minute. And obviously some real concern around Raul Ruidiaz, but for the Sounders, still 86 minutes of soccer to be played. Here's Roldan in from the right side. Plunks that off the post. Rebound rattles around, will be knocked away by Espinoza.
I like the control, though, here, Andrew. This is what you need. Even when it bounces back out, keep the control. As it seems like that was a communication issue there with Kelvin and what he was looking to do to keep that ball in the box.
Rios loses out to Arriaga. Long ball, far side, Jordan Morris. Morris been coming on strong lately.
He has, Andrew, and we'll see Will Bruin come up at the start of forward here.
Lodero back for Svensson. Lodero gone through for Bruin. Can't put much behind that shot to seriously challenge Daniel Vega.
Yeah, and going back to it, Andrew, we saw Will Bruin come on, and certainly another option for Brian Schmetzer would have been to put Jordan Morris up there and bring on, say, a Harry Shipp or one of his young midfielders that he could have slotted in at one of those spots. So it's interesting to see Brian Schmetzer make the choice of Will Bruin, the veteran forward, who doesn't have as much speed, obviously. It kind of reduces that up top for Seattle. But still, it's an option where the Sounders have won many matches, scored many goals with Bruin up there. It's just going to be interesting to see how much they can stretch San Jose for the last, roughly 80 minutes of this match without the guy who is at the top of MLS scoring list, Raul Ruidiaz, 8 goals on the year. Certainly going to be tough, and we'll hear later on about exactly how far and how long they're going to miss Raul Ruidiaz for.
And of course, obviously, his absence looming large, not only for this contest, Jackson, but the one we have earmarked for this weekend, that big Cascadia Cup clash against Portland Timbers.
It will be. That will be absolutely gigantic for the Sounders because, Portland's a team where they are going to score, and I think you're going to have to keep up with them. And if Raul Ruidiaz is unavailable, and hopefully what we'll hear from Brian Schmetzer post-game is that it was just precautionary. We wanted to keep him available for Portland, so we didn't want to risk anything. Hopefully that's indeed what we hear, but we won't know that for another 80 or so minutes.
Loose ball inside. Espinoza fights his way back to it after an ineffectual header. Can't put it on frame.
Well,
Simulation loves its wave, Jackson.
Yes, it does indeed, and obviously it's something that even this stadium does in addition to CenturyLink Field. I'm not sure exactly what they're waving at. It is an impressive crowd, Andrew. I must say, the crowd here at San Jose for a weekday Wednesday night here, during the quarantine, it's really just an outstanding job by the fans to come out in full droves.
There's nothing better than a casual Wednesday night, fighting your way through, that famous, very, very reasonable, easy to drive California Bay Area traffic.
Of course, yeah.
Coming on down to Earthquake Stadium. Lodero scoops through here for Bruin. Bruin, a big presence on the ball. Back here for Lodero! Sounders on top early once again. The substitute, Will Bruin, gets a bit cheeky with the backheel service, and Lodero smashes it into the roof of the net. It's 1-0.
It's a great finish, Andrew, but let's just focus on Will Bruin here and just the absolute no-look backheel pass. Just pinpoint perfection to Nicholas Lodero. We're talking about where the offense is going to come from without Raul Ruidiaz. Will Bruin certainly able to do that, but Nicholas Lodero is going to have to pick up a lot of the slack today and potentially going forward. That's exactly what we need. Him getting forward into those dangerous positions. We talk about that prime assist zone just to the right and the left of that goal. They found that position again right there. Amazing assist from Bruin.
It's a 5th goal of the season for Nico Lodero. That was one of the things that we definitely have to consider. Will Bruin, you mentioned, maybe not as fleet of foot as Raul Ruidiaz, but in terms of finding someone to put his butt between the defender and the ball and create some space inside the 18, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better option up top.
You're dead on there for sure, and that's really kind of what Will Bruin does a lot of, is he's able to put himself in those positions, especially on set pieces, corner kicks. Will Bruin's the type of guy that you want to have there.
Sounders want more. Lodero, he's gone down here.
Where is
3 waves for play to continue. We'll have to take another look at this. Jackson, I'm curious to see your thoughts if the simulation deems us worthy of a replay.
That should be looked at for sure. It looked like that was a clear goal-scoring opportunity for Nicholas Lodero for a brace here inside of 23 minutes. That should have been another opportunity as it is here.
Yeah, just didn't quite get enough of that ball. Here's another look at it, and It's kind of a breaking ball that didn't, Jackson.
Yeah, exactly there. You see what he's trying to do, and Nico wants that one back. He knows exactly what that ball should have looked like going into the back of the net there, that top right corner. But going back to it, that's absolutely a penalty. He's clearly the defender slides. Nico takes a step and then trips right over him. That is 100% a penalty kick. Whether it is or not, it's a penalty kick, Andrew. I have no idea what the ref is looking at.
Jackson, is there any possibility at all that there was simulation within the simulation? Have we had simulationception?
No, Andrew, but I will say that I had a dream about simulation, and clearly we are starting to see these things bleed together here in whatever world we're living in.
Hey, we've all been working from home for 9 weeks. The lines of what is real and what isn't are getting blurrier and blurrier every single day.
Speaking of which, is that you in the press box right there that I see?
No comment.
Yeah, we see that shot by Nico again, and you're exactly right. It's well put. It's just a breaking ball that didn't break there. It should have gone down a little bit. But overall here, Seattle with this early lead. We talked at the start of the broadcast about coming out on the front foot, and that's what Seattle's done. And yeah, you lost Raul Ruidiaz, but I love the tactics from Seattle where even though you lost him, it's not like you lost a gear. You are continuing to work this offense the same way you do, just knowing that you have a little bit slower of a guy up top in Will Bruin, as we can see how they function through him right there in those passing sets.
On wide now for Roldan. He's at the corner flag. Cuts in an early cross, skips beyond everyone. Morris got a foot to that. It would have been quite a stunning goal if he put it on frame.
That would have been there as he tries to kind of half volley that. Very little chance that ball will ever be put on target. But, you know, we're talking about the offensive options, and without Ruidiaz, you got to try everything. And especially with a one-goal cushion already here that Seattle has, why not take that shot if you're Jordan Morris?
Well, we near the half-hour mark here at Earthquake Stadium. Thank you again for joining us on a Wednesday evening. Perfectly good time to grab a cocktail and dip your toes into the simulation. There's Vako Kazashvili. He is the danger man for San Jose this season. 6 goals, 2 assists, and obviously the Georgian, just a huge presence. You have to wonder how Atlanta United missed on this guy in their own backyard.
As we see Jordan Morris, what a run that he just makes right there. And that they're going to need him running down and finding him on that left wing.
Will Bruin nearly sets up his second backheel assist of the match, Jackson, and you just absolutely leave me hanging on the return of volley of my Georgian joke.
Yes, I realized that afterwards that I probably should have said so. I was too focused on the beautiful galloping legs of Jordan Morris, and I have to apologize. He is, of course, you know, very, very hypnotizing when you watch him run down that side.
Here is Morris. Bit of space here, looking for a target for the cross. Pass cut out by Vako. Sounders, Jackson, have not had too much to do out on the wings. They've pretty much come right up the middle at this San Jose side, which is looking to play on the break now.
Yeah, they are. Let's talk about that in a minute.
There's Christian Espinoza. His cross toward the back post. Fries there, tips it away.
Good punch there by Stefan. You're right about the wings, Andrew, in the sense of the way they've kind of tried to attack him. And it's interesting because Will Bruin is the guy up top, and you would typically like to see them work like that as they try another one here from Morris, and it works again. They keep using this, Andrew.
Morris needs some support in the middle. Tried to pick out, I believe, Nico Lodero in the middle there. Christian Roldan lurking as well.
And as we near the halftime whistle, Andrew, I would just like to say, I wonder if the conversation will come up at halftime about back heel passing. We saw Will Bruin try it again, and you were successful on the first time, but it's not like a thing you're supposed to make a normal thing, Will Bruin. We saw Jordan just do it again a couple minutes ago as well. Back heel passing should not be normal passing, guys. Let's just make that clear.
Kelvin Leerdam putting in work there along the far touchline. Gone further ahead for Lodero. He's double teamed and dispossessed. Vako wanted the quick return from Rios. Instead, it's with Jackson Ewell. Husen. Back inside for Ewell. The middle, Espinoza. Ewell. Husen. Space for the cross. tipped toward goal and straight into the hands of Stephen Fry, who stands strong at the near post.
Yeah, good example, Andrew, of something we've talked about a lot this season in the simulation, which is the Sounders allowing passing in the final third, but not allowing anything to get in that dangerous spot where San Jose is not able to really find a really high percentage shot, where Seattle will let you do that. They'll let you keep possession, but they're not going to let you get anything serious.
Free kick given after a brief advantage. Free kick comes sailing in and will bounce out of play. Meanwhile, Real Salt Lake has grabbed a goal against Minnesota United on the road. And that notable for two reasons. One, Minnesota United just below Sounders in the table right now on 17 points to Seattle's 19. And Real Salt Lake winless so far this season.
Yeah, it's great to see these are lining up really, really well as we see Justin Miram, the longtime veteran here in MLS. How many teams and years has he been on? All in this league. So good to see RSL helping Seattle out a little bit tonight. Let's hope that holds.
Meanwhile, Sounders looking to hold this lead into the break through 3 minutes of stoppage time. San Jose has been on the front foot the last 5 or so. Lodero's cross coming inside. Bruin tips it down and turns it in. Jordan Morris. He got on the end of that cross. Morris with great ball control and an awful lot of time in first half stoppage time. It's 2-0.
Well, just like the planes above us, Andrew, Jordan Morris likes to fly like an eagle there on that celebration. We see the incredible amount of away fans who traveled all the way from Seattle going crazy there. Really nice job from Jordan Morris to quickly control it there. We see the quick control there with the left foot, back over to the right with the shot. Outstanding job at the turn and shoot from him. And just way out of place kept the keeper there. And we talked about Jordan Morris over and over again so far on this broadcast. Him needing to pick up the slack, him and Lodero, from the lack of Raul Ruidiaz. You couldn't have asked for a better reaction from the rest of these Seattle Sounders to Raul going down than what they have provided here tonight with 2 goals right before halftime.
It's Morris's 4th on the year. Lodero now an assist to go with his goal. Here's Huson trying to spark something. San Jose looking to respond. Stephen Fry with a big save, and the follow-up shot is blocked by Gustav Svensson, and that will be the last action of the half. So the Sounders, once again, things a little bit nervy near that whistle, but absolutely sensational. 2-0 for them.
Yeah, just a wild last couple minutes there, Andrew, where we have Seattle's goal, the great goal by Jordan Morris that we'll see. And then also there's San Jose coming back on the other end, where it takes a great save by Stephen Fry, and then Gustav Svensson just doing what he does best, putting himself in between the goal and the ball. We've seen that so many times here as we go back and watch these first half highlights. And that back heel pass by Will Bruin, Andrew, is something we'll be watching for a while. Great finish by Nico Lodero, but certainly Will Bruin being able to come on and just spark the offense the way that he did. He's been great so far today.
Well, we'll take a break here on Scuttlebutt Sims. Sounders leading 2-0 through 45 minutes of play. Can they hold on to the lead to the road? We'll find out in the second half.
Thank you, gentlemen. There are 2 other matches today, and one of them is already completed. We'll highlight that here in a second. But I want to show you we have Minnesota United potentially getting upset by Real Salt Lake. Bottom feeders. Justin Miram first goal. That is huge in terms of the table in Seattle standings with a gap of now 5 points. But here is New York City and Toronto. Watch this. There's only 1 goal here. Heber, his first goal of the season. I believe actually second. I apologize. And let's see how that transpired.
Pozuelo. Can't miss, surely. He's going to be angry with himself, Lee, having failed to take that chance so early in the game.
Well, the first chance of a game.
It's there for him. And a marvellous save.
Well, his reflexes there, absolutely spot on. That's why they work so hard.
Can they get in behind them? Oh, it's off the post. And cleared behind for what is going to be a corner kick. Staunch rearguard action. In position here to protect the ball. Well, a header that was frankly miles off target.
Well, technically, that was awful.
The cross is on. And heading it just over the bar.
Yeah, he thinks he's in, he thinks he's scored, and he's just over the bar.
Eber. It's Parks. Tremendous ball played through. And it is the opening goal of the contest.
Well, it was always going to be a tight game, but now all of a sudden one team ahead. Things are...
Welcome back into Earthquake Stadium, or perhaps Crown Lane. We're not really sure. What we are sure of, Sounders lead 2-0 through 45 minutes of play here on Scuttlebutt Sims. Andrew Harvey alongside Jackson Feltz for you for the second 45.
Well, Andrew, we saw the last game for the Sounders, which was a 3-2 win, and they got that 3-0 lead in the second half against Colorado. And with a 2-0 lead here, you'd like to see the same thing. I think it's a similar situation that we said when it was 2-0 in that game, which is if the Sounders can get 3, I think that's the magic number where you start kind of popping the champagne a little bit. With San Jose, they've had a decent season, but watching the way the Sounders defend and the way that they allow passing but don't allow anything dangerous in the final third, I think if you can be on the front foot here for the first, 10-15 minutes, don't push too hard, don't give up anything on the other end on a counter. But I think that Seattle is in a position here to take a commanding lead and then be able to kind of coast a little bit, get those defensive subs in, because you have to worry about Portland coming up this weekend as well.
The Seattle team has made a point of starting halves very, very strong. A lot of early goals. Here they are working once more. Bruin combining with Roldan. You can just see Bruin lying much further back than Rui Diaz. Roldan's cross broken up by Ewell and has gone out for a corner.
Yeah, really nice passing here to start this second half. We've seen it week in and week out. This is how the Sounders play with strong starts to second halves. We're seeing it again. Now let's see if they can transition that into a goal. We talked about corner kicks with Will Bruin. It's an advantage you have as opposed to Raul Rui Diaz. Let's see if Will Bruin, the early sub, can come up with something big here on the corner.
The in-swinger, it's a low ball and easily broken up. Got to beat the first defender with the service, Jackson.
You definitely do. And with so many big-bodied guys like Jamar Gomez, Andrade, and Bruin, that corner kind of is a question to me.
Follow-up effort. Knocked away back toward midfield. Jamar Gomez Andrade has it, gets it up to Svensson, Morris, and Lodero. Boy, Lodero, you can see the attention he draws every time the ball comes his way. He's got 3-4 defenders eyeing him, closing in. This is Lodero. Slipped it through there. Oh, my word. Will Bruin has scored 3-0. A massive goal. And Will Bruin just slices right through the San Jose back line. Lethal on the finish.
Now, a bit disappointed there. We didn't see the 2 thumbs up by Will Bruin. That's certainly a lapse in judgment there from the simulation. But let's talk about this goal itself, Andrew. And in the first half, it was Will Bruin to Nico Lodero, a great pass and a great finish. And that right there is the exact opposite. It is a great pass and a great finish. This time from Lodero to Will Bruin. And the ability of Lodero to find Bruin in there and just find the exact perfect lane to put that ball so no defender can jump up and tip that away. Outstanding on both ends there. And Nico Lodero, I think right now, your man of the match for his goal and 2 assist performance. But certainly Will Bruin, we talked about in the first half, stepping in there in the 10th minute in place of injured Raul Rui Diaz, and he has just done a fantastic job, Andrew.
Yeah, it's a real luxury for Sounders. Obviously, you always want to have your first choice striker out there, but when your backup's a man like Will Bruin, who scored some very important goals for this club over the course of his couple years here, there's not too much cause for concern. Bruin back inside. Here's Lodero. Lodero teeing up maybe another cross, and it's broken up by Thompson.
Good defending by San Jose there as Nico Lodeiro continues to work that. And as we see Jordy Delem coming on, we talked a couple minutes about if you can get that third goal, start to make these defensive subs. Save guys for Portland on the weekend. We're clearly seeing that with Joao Paulo coming out, so he can go a full 90 against Portland. That's great to see. Good move there by head coach Brian Schmetzer.
Cross swung in. Morris can't fight his way free. And Jackson, there was another kind of a baffling change from Matias Almeida there. He's pulled off his leading scorer, Vako Kazashvili. And you have to wonder if that might play a factor in San Jose's match at Real Salt Lake this weekend. So maybe Matias Almeida, realizing 3-0 down at the hour mark, it's best to let the sub see what they can do and save his leading scorer for a match against weaker opposition.
Yeah, I think you're dead on there, Andrew, and I think both head coaches might be of that mentality now where, okay, we are pretty content with understanding the way this midweek, and this is kind of typically what we see, Andrew, in a lot of midweek matches outside of the simulation, is coaches tend to see the way a game is going midweek, understand what they have ahead of them, and kind of just start to lean into what's going on. So, you know, with 28 minutes and stoppage left to go in this game, a 3-0 Sounders lead, you know, you just hope to not see any more injuries, and we hope to hear at the end of this game that Raul Ruidiaz is going to be okay for this weekend against Portland. But, you know, at this point, put all the guys, take all the guys out that you even have to worry about for both injuries and also for just taking some minutes off legs. Maybe you got like Christian Roldan, maybe a ship for Roldan type of move, just to take some minutes off legs. It's a guy who is basically the Iron Man of the Sounders, works every single minute of every single game. Give him a break. Give Lodeiro a break if you can, you know, figure out a way to maybe have Ship play the 10. I'm just kind of throwing things out there, but a great opportunity for Brian Schmetzer to set up yourself perfectly for Portland.
Of course, one name who we probably won't see, I'm fairly certain he's not on the team sheet tonight, but has now officially been inducted into the simulation, young Daniel Leyva. Congratulations to him for his presence here among these millions of lines of code. Of course, right now, rated as a 57 overall, but with an 82 potential. Another quick through ball. Boy, they just love that option, the middle to Will Bruin.
Well, if the fourth is there, they're going to take it because why not? 3-0 is nice, but 4-0 is better. So as we see another look in, let's see what happened here.
And perhaps not as surprising there to hear that Minnesota United have equalized against still winless Real Salt Lake. So it's all to do now for the Utah club. Minnesota getting some momentum back at home.
And we saw at halftime, Andrew, if the standings held with RSL keeping that lead, what it would have looked like with Seattle jumping into that number 2 spot in the Western Conference. That doesn't change with this result. So that's the good news, is that Seattle picking up 3 points here will keep that second spot in the Western Conference. Minnesota is a team that we've talked about, and, you know, they're certainly going to be contenders in this Western Conference. And, you know, it basically happens in all sports where a team gets out to a major lead in terms of the standings. They have a great start to the season. They come back to earth eventually, unless they're, say, an LAFC sort of a team. So we're going to see Colorado come back to earth. And Minnesota is one of those teams that can vie for the top of the conference this year, I think. So, you know, that's a team where if RSL, and we'll keep watching and see if anything happens in that game, but that would be a big, you know, zero if Minnesota is not able to capture a point there. So go Salt Lake as much as possible.
Espinoza trying for the far side. Picks out Thompson. Vieira, who subbed on for Kazashvili, calling for the through ball. Thompson tries to take it to the outside. Jordan Morris throws it in. You see there an ACL sprain, so certainly not the worst news that it could have been for Sounders FC, but definitely one that you have to imagine puts Ruidiaz's potential involvement this weekend into jeopardy.
It does. So we will likely see Will Bruin again for Portland as I feverishly go to Google to look up what an ACL sprain recovery time is, because unfortunately I don't have that on the top of my head.
Of course, Jackson, you have a medical degree from Columbia, but yes, I was told recently that they wanted you to have one from America if you were going to make those sorts of comments.
Of course, yes. Unfortunately, the simulation applies that medical degree, and the simulation
and yes,
is just not regular.
I did steal that joke from Community. Now on Netflix.
Thanks, Dan Harmon.
I guess they're our presenting sponsor for tonight. Tonight's match is brought to you by Community, because why not?
That's a great show. Except when they get in the later seasons and then you have the weird drug episodes where they're all in the forest. Then it kind of jumps the shark just a bit.
I mean, strong start and then some trouble trying to maintain momentum at the end. It's a bit kind of like how the last couple seasons have gone for Sporting Kansas City when they get into those last 7 or 8 matches and the injuries pile up.
You're absolutely right. A little bit also like Seattle's last game here against Colorado. But, this is a situation with 12 minutes remaining. We're clearly talking about community while the Sounders lead 3-0 in the 79th minute of this Wednesday night game. You can tell listeners and viewers exactly how we feel about what's going on right now.
I mean, Jackson, if you ask Brian Schmetzer, he'll tell you that community is very important to the Sounders as an organization. He'll just, be talking about something else.
Yes, exactly. We are family, right? That's what the whole line was last year. That the family just grew larger, and it's all about the Seattle community. And the work that the Seattle Sounders are, by the way, doing for COVID-19 with the relief fund and everything like that, no joke, just completely serious. The work that recovery fund is doing, the initial investment by Adrian Hanauer, everybody who has done everything with that relief fund, how it's benefiting businesses in that part of our community in SoDo, keeping businesses afloat because we know it is very, very tough time. So great job to the Sounders and everybody with the community that has built that relief fund.
Yeah, no, I mean, all wisecracking of two guys sitting in a recording studio on one end and a basement across the city on the other. The Ray Foundation does a lot of great work around the city, and honestly, the Sounders are a really, really great organization to have any sort of involvement with.
Absolutely. We look here at, in this terms of this ACL sprain, as we see an offside there for the Sounders, I've been trying to look, and there's a whole bunch of different info on what an ACL sprain recovery time is, and a lot of it depends on what the grades are, because there's a grade 1 sprain, there's a grade 2 sprain, there's a grade 3 sprain. So I think ultimately as we look into this, it's going to matter kind of what that degree of sprain is, and that's how long Raul Ruidiaz is going to be out here. So when the medical doctors who are actually with degrees from the United States, not from Colombia, and from the simulation take a look at that, then we'll know more.
And it all just keeps falling apart for Real Salt Lake inside the simulation. Nice header finish there for Minnesota, who claimed a 2-1 lead with what can only be minutes to go.
Pitiful, Real Salt Lake. You can't keep that lead for us. You can't get that for us. We've already had Ruidiaz go down with an ACL sprain. You can't at least keep that 1-0 lead. Pitiful.
Jackson, I'm willing to bet you they'd tell you that they weren't trying to hold on to that lead for you, but I do understand what you mean. 88th minute, no word yet on how much stoppage time we can expect to play. Just one goal this half, but things have been a little bit choppier. A couple fouls, couple offside calls.
Yeah, not much for San Jose or really either team. We've seen kind of Seattle, and I would have loved to see a little more subs to take minutes off legs, but it is what it is. But, San Jose just hasn't been able to get anything going on the offensive end at all today, and it's a credit to Seattle's back line. It's a credit to Stephen Fry, who's come up with a couple big saves. I mean, clearly the duo that we've talked about before of Jaymar Gomez-Andrade, the big-bodied guy, and the more athletic Javier Arriaga, it has worked perfectly for Brian Schmetzer. I mean, we see what the Sounders have done here of late, and that duo on the defensive end, let's just take out Vancouver a while back, they've shut down almost every offense that they've faced so far in the simulation.
It's another big day for the defense. Not too much to do, but that's because they've been active at the edge of the defensive third. And as I say that, here comes a dangerous cross. It'll be cleared away by Gustav Svensson. Second of 3 scheduled minutes of stoppage time. Sounders maybe starting to think about playing a little bit of corner ball. Time perhaps for one last chance for San Jose, but it certainly won't be enough. Sounders on the midweek come in and have a big night, and they get a big result, a 3-0 win on the road over the Earthquakes, Jackson.
Yeah, it was a good night for the Sounders in terms of the scoreboard line. That 3-0 win, we see what it does to the standings there. Jumping ahead of Sporting KC up to second place. They're chasing down the Colorado Rapids. We'll continue to see that. But, of course, the big news is Raul Ruidiaz, the ACL sprain, so he'll be out for a while. Portland coming up this weekend, Andrew, and the big question is the offensive attack with Will Bruin in there? They were great tonight, but will it be enough against Portland this weekend?
Well, we will find out on Sunday. We will see you for that match. But that's going to do it for us here from either Crown Lane or Earthquake Stadium. For all of us here at Scuttlebutt Sins, including our producer Aaron Lingley and Jackson Feltz, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.